Okay, so we're going to talk about Democratic hopefuls, potential candidates to run against Hillary Clinton. Basically, who's going to run and lose to Hillary Clinton in the 2016 Democratic nomination process? Joseph, the most obvious answer is that Elizabeth Warren could run. What do you think?
I kind of see. I put Elizabeth Warren and Bernie Sanders both in the same boats. I don't think either of them have a chance of beating Hillary Clinton, just because she has establishment support and name recognition, the same strengths that got Mitt Romney the nomination for the Republicans last year, and she already has grassroots support across the country. I see people with bumper stickers that say, "I'm ready for Hillary."
Yeah.
Um, but I think Warren and Sanders, if they run, it would be more of like they would probably run not because they feel like they have a chance of winning, but it'd be more like along the lines of Ron Paul, to get ideas out,
So
to
it'd
try
be
to
a
convince people.
ideological run. It would be an attempt to push Hillary or pull Hillary towards the left. And I guess, in my opinion, Warren fills a niche that isn't answered by Hillary at the moment, and that is she represents the anti-Wall Street wing of the Democratic Party. So Hillary, for example, in the last couple of years, did a speech at I believe it was Goldman Sachs for $500,000. One speech, headline. She's in bed with Wall Street, and so there's a desire from the part of the party more to the left to have someone like Warren represent their anti-Wall Street frustrations.
Yes, definitely. And there might be you never know with how a political campaign goes. Maybe she'll do really well in a debate or something like that. Maybe she'll just go out really hard and win people over to her campaign. I wouldn't rule that possibility out, but it's kind of like a snowball's chance in hell.
Yeah.
Um,
And
kind of.
uh, and Bernie Sanders, I mean, do you kind of pair them together? I guess Bernie Sanders has more of a Ron Paul feel, that crazy grandpa. He always looks disheveled. His hair's always sticking out off the side of his head. He hasn't got a shot in hell. But I mean, he says the right things. Warren, however, is a little bit more of a complete package. Says the right things and has a good look to her. Um, so it's hard to know. What about any sort of hidden candidates that we're not expecting? Anyone who might surprise us with a run?
Possibly so I've heard the name yeah, okay, Joseph Biden could be an option. The guy has a really big ego and a really bad penchant for saying for not keeping his mouth shut, for saying really stupid things.
He's got
So
no
I
chance
don't
in
think
hell.
he
He
would.
ain't running. He ain't running.
Yeah.
No.
From Texas, some people have shot the name around either the Castro brothers,
Yeah.
Julio, Julian. I'm forgetting their names.
Yeah, I can't recall their names either. They're very similar. One of them is a congressman, and one of them is the mayor of San Antonio. I think
Mhm.
those guys are not relevant in 2016. However, when Texas is turning purple in 2024 or whenever that ends up being, those guys will be absolutely critical as a president or vice presidential candidate. No doubt. So when the Latino population starts voting in Texas in higher numbers, they're going to be so relevant. It's going to change the political dynamic of the country. However, in 2016, absolutely not. They'd be fools to do it because not only would they be diminishing their prospects for the future, but they would be burning bridges all the while with establishment people they need, like Hillary and like the Clinton family.
Well, if Texas, that'd be an interesting election dynamic, and I think you're wise to put that off in the future. That is a possibility, but Texas still has a very conservative political climate. Even in the last gubernatorial race, one of the statistics I thought was very interesting, if I remember right, Greg Abbott actually scored higher or had more votes among Latino voters than Wendy Davis.
Mm.
So that's another interesting dynamic, just because there are more Latino voters in Texas does not necessarily mean it's becoming more liberal.
Good. I think we just found our topic for next week. We're going to talk
Okay,
about
I
the
gotta
future
look
of
it up
Texas
then.
politics. However, give me in 10 seconds, how is the Democratic primary going to go, and who's going to be on top, and why is it Hillary?
Um, Hillary, just because she has a feeling of inevitability towards her, just in the same way as Mitt Romney. It is possible for somebody to for Warren or Sanders or anybody else running to upseat her. But even if they have that charisma, that speaking charisma, and they do grassroots campaign, think back to 2012 in the Republican nomination. How every single time somebody pulled close to Mitt Romney, something came out about them
Yeah.
that just sunk their
Sunk their
that
ship.
just
I
complete.
think I think the Democratic primary is pretty safe to say that it's going to be Hillary. And just for the record, I'm pretty certain that Elizabeth Warren and Hillary Clinton had a pretty notable dinner meeting a few months back, and by all indications, Elizabeth Warren won't be running. So we'll keep an eye and we'll do a video update in the future if there's anything interesting that happens on the Democratic.